Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. Today we're doing a really interesting video. And if you haven't seen these two gentlemen before, introduce yourselves and what are we doing?
We are putting together a seriously cool mega test, and we're investigating graphene and Si02 and wax. So I'm Bert, I'm the editor of Pro Detailer magazine.
And I'm Ian, I'm the other editor of Pro Detailer magazine.
And we have, over the last year and a bit, been researching into graphene. We went up to Applied Graphene Materials, which is up in Teesside, and in the last issue we talked about it, we looked at the science of it, we got into the nitty-gritty, saw it being made, all sorts of bits and bobs. And we thought, right, how are we going to test this? Because normally in a mega test we get a ton of products together, usually voted by readers, we talk to you, often you're coming in and testing with us. And we do it like that, but I think, no, why don't we do, well, it was your idea actually, is to do a double blind test.
Yeah, blind tests are brutal. There is just no, it's what you get, the results. Is the result. So this is a really interesting thing because there's so much controversy around all these new technologies and whether they offer anything. And the crunch test is if you send them out to loads of people and don't tell them, can you actually tell?
Yeah,
and everybody has a different opinion on graphene without having any practical experience with looking into it themselves. So give them a chance, send it out there, see what they come back with.
Exactly.
And the other important thing is, just like with Si02, graphene, there's graphene and graphene. So we're working, as I say, with AGM, and they are, because they're developing it and evolving it, they've kind of basically mastered it for our environment. So earlier kind of Gen 1 graphene products, you might have used one product that had graphene on, thought it was a bit pants, and presumed that all graphene products are pants. Same deal with the Si02. You often have these, products where they're just sprinkling a little bit of fairy dust in there, and it's really the marketing people doing the work. Well, the stuff that we've got has been formulated by chemists and by proper, high-tech, the real deal sort of thing. And it is the best kind of option. It's the best, how do we say, showcase, so to speak, of the technology currently available. So really this test is saying, right, is it a waste of time? Is it useful? What are the benefits of these different materials?
Fantastic. So what we're going to do is now move on to show you what's being sent out to everyone and demo it on the panel, and also see if I can tell the difference.
So the way this test is going to work is we have got John Hogg of Angel Wax to brew 3 waxes, or rather he's made 1 wax, which is a good, straightforward organic wax with organic waxes in there. And he's formulated it in such a way that it accepts and works well with either an Si02 edition or a graphene edition. So of these waxes, one is just a normal organic wax, one is the same normal organic wax with Si02, and another is with graphene. Now the killer here is they are all exactly the same in appearance, in texture, and in smell. And it took quite a lot of work to get there. So there is no way, and John, you've had a sniff through these and had a little poke already, and you can't tell which these are. The only way you can tell is with the numbers, and you don't know what the numbers refer to. I have a crib sheet that I have hidden strategically in the office somewhere.
You looked over there somewhere. I'm going to go hunting.
Actually, I've lost it, to be fair, but I will find it. It'll be fine. And the idea is we're sending these out to a number of people. So we've got professional detailers, we've got enthusiast detailers, we've got even chemists and product development experts at other manufacturers testing this as well. So for example, we've got Sean at Concept Chemicals who's got them. We've got some have gone over to Soft 99 Japan, some have gone to America, some have gone to Switzerland, some have gone to Netherlands. We're really going big on this.
We've got other YouTubers as well.
We do indeed. We have Paul Dolden, we have Specky, we have Luke Macan who's Tranquility based. So lots of different people, lots of different skill sets, lots of different levels, and they've all been given a score sheet for each wax.
Let's have a look at this.
So it's a very simple one, and we've asked them not to feel constrained by this. This is just a guide, so it's a two-sided thing, and they can just fill in a general kind of report card on the wax. But what we've said to them is try and think out the box, do some wacky tests, do something different, so that we can get lots of different points of view. Now, the majority of these people have been sent just 2 waxes. They might have been sent 2 graphene waxes. They might have been sent.
Really?
Yeah, they could get anything. They're literally the numbers
nasty.
are picked. So if we get somebody who is convinced that this wax is 1,000,000 times better than that wax, and it turns out they're the same.
Well, you wouldn't do that to me, would you?
No. No, we wouldn't. But generally speaking, most will have, just by the way statistics works, they will have an Si02 wax and an organic and a graphene, or a graphene and an Si02. They don't know, and that's the double blind element to it. And that's what makes this test really exciting, but also I would imagine, particularly for the people involved in graphene and Si02 and all the rest of it, a bit nerve-wracking really, because the truth is the truth and it will out. And also we're not relying on one person's opinion. So if you, for example, John, decide to do a test and you say something's rubbish, it's one person's opinion. But if we've got 15, 20 people saying the same thing, from my point of view, what I'm nervous about is if the results are a complete mix and some people like it, some people don't, and it's all over the place, which is highly likely. So what we're going to do now is we've got a bonnet here from a supercar. You may recognise it as a Subaru Legacy BL5 Spec B. And John, you are going to be playing with the waxes and trying to come up with some conclusions, and then you're going to take these home with you and do some more playing and testing and fiddling, and then your results, and you're going to photograph it for us.
Yep.
And we will put those results in issue 15 of the magazine, which will be coming out in July.
And we'll put links to where you can buy that magazine in the description for anyone that's not familiar with Pro Detailers magazine. You're through to issue 15 now.
I know.
It's been running for a while, isn't it?
Well, yeah, we're coming up 7 years now.
That's fantastic. Right, let's get on to putting the waxes down. Are we going, are we?
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Let's start.
Those
Okay,
are all waxes.
the first thing I'm going to do is write the numbers on the top, just so I can differentiate between them.
The reason we put them on the bottom is people may mistake the lids and get them all messed up. So that's
Okay.
the theory.
So I'll also put ABC. We'll go BC. Just for me. Now, first thing I want to do is have a look at these waxes, which I find interesting, because you might be able to get a clue. The first clue that Bert gave me is that the base wax is all the same, which you have to tell people. So, and you have to do it that way, because if you made a different wax formulation, you're going to get different results. The only difference is the additive of graphene in one and Si02 in the other. The graphene we know is going to be a micronized powder. So I'm thinking I don't know how much you're putting in, but it might dry the wax formulation out. So two of them are cracked and one of them is uncracked and it's got no shrinkage. So that one I'm thinking straight away, 33 might be the first clue that 33 is the normal wax formulation, or it may not. Okay, they don't smell any different. So let's go and put the first wax on, 27. Let's have a look. And we'll put it on the left hand side of this panel. Just going to put my finger through it as well. So it's a good wax. It's pigmented, so that we can't learn anything about the colour. But it feels like a John Hogg wax. So at the moment, no one will know if that's graphene or Si02 from just putting that down. So let's lay it out. It's nice and oily. It's spreading okay. It's got well, I suppose the sticky bit is where the applicator doesn't have any wax on it. So we're using a fair amount of wax. Let's just spread that bit. So this wax now, feels like it's just spreading any normal paste wax. It's quite translucent.
What does graphene smell like, John?
You
No
get
idea.
hints of bergamot in there. Or
All I'm getting is the solvent.
And again, the solvents have been picked specifically to be compatible across the board.
They're low aromatic solvents. So I think there's nothing. There's a slight muskiness to it, but
But that's just John.
yeah, that's his aftershave, isn't it?
so iron proof for everything.
Yes.
We might as well just leave that on the panel for a second, and then go and apply the second one, which is 33. Use a different applicator here.
So while John's doing that, I will just explain with the bonnet. It is it's been thoroughly cleaned, it's been decontaminated, and it's been wiped down. So it is a virgin surface. However, it has not been machine polished or anything like that, so it reflects a typical daily driver. In fact, I'm ashamed to say the swells are even worse than what I would consider acceptable for a daily
It's just
driver.
like a normal car that's been panel wiped, isn't it, and cleaned.
Yeah.
So it's a bare surface to apply wax to. So it's probably a good thing to.
Well, what's interesting also is if it was perfectly polished, that itself creates a hydrophobicity in the paint.
Yeah.
So by having it marring, also we can see things like filling ability, and we can see improvements that you can only see on imperfect paint. So there's a bit of wisdom behind the method, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of people also testing it on perfectly polished.
These feel so similar. They feel so similar when you put them on the panel. I don't know though, but maybe this one felt slightly more spreadable.
Okay, that's something to note down on the card. Is going to be ease of application, but it's a very minute difference. By the sound of it.
But you wouldn't expect if you put graphene in it, in particular, for it to help with spreadability at all. In fact, the opposite. So this is 33, isn't it? This is the one that I said. This is the one that I said it could be the pure wax because it hasn't cracked. It's the only one that hadn't cracked, but I don't know.
Well, I've intentionally not memorised which one is which, because otherwise my poker face is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I mean they're very similar. So let's go on to the last wax now. I'll use the other side of this applicator. We're going on to 43. I'll come around the back here. Oh, that's interesting.
Sorry, which number is that, John?
43.
43.
There's a lot more cracking underneath that initial top surface. Let's just get the wax all over the applicator. Very hard to say. I think this feels slightly more oily than that one. Slightly more spreadable maybe. I usually tape off. You know, I usually tape off just so I know where the wax is and stuff. But
Why don't you do an outstretched pad photo? You know, we like those. It's
like that.
Well, no, outstretched like this.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. There we go. Don't worry, your face is blurred, so you can do what you like there.
Okay, that's fine.
So open up the top a little bit more.
The summary, yeah, the summary on application, I can't tell the difference on application of the wax. The only thing is the middle one, 33, maybe felt slightly less spreadable than the other two. That could be just. That's just the only observation.
Well, fill in your card while you remember it.
Yeah. Very interesting. I love all this stuff. Yeah, and that's the middle one, isn't it? And that middle one, the other ones, like 43, were cracked going all the way through. So there's definitely something different with the blend of this. And I think
they've all been kept at the same temperature and the same conditions in the same box and at the same time. So if they were dropped by a courier or something, they were all dropped by a courier. And if
no, it won't be dropping. It'll be
chemical.
Like when you know the wax cracking, because it could be drier because of the addition of something. So yeah, wax number. You got what's this for one?
That's for one. I'll get you another two cards. So fill it in for the first one.
So 27. Date of application. What are we? 24th the 2nd. 20. What year? Ease of application. I would say. You know, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10 or something. Or we've got great, average, good. I'd say good. Doesn't have that really silky, smooth buff, but just good. So ease of removal, we're going to find out. So if we if we put this in the can, we'll let it cure, and then we'll buff off, and we'll see if we can notice any difference in the buffage. Right, so we've given this a bit of time to cure. It's definitely cured, and I'm going to try and buff it now with these clean microfiber towels. And it's really actually buffing really nice. We haven't applied too much wax. I mean, that's buffed. So the panel feels like a waxed panel. Might be worth doing one of those little slippy slidey tests a bit later on.
Yeah.
So 27 buffs great, really good actually. Now we're going to go on to 33, the one I suspected might just be a pure wax. That's fine as well. I can see in the light the footprint of the wax is just coming up. I'm not having to really pressure into the panel. So this is a good wax, by the way. This is a John Hogg success. He knows what he's doing when it comes to making waxes. They're both identical. Those waxes buff really, really nice. So let's get another. Well, in fact, we'll just fold this and get a clean side. Right, the last wax. That's cured. It's coming off nice. It feels. That doesn't feel. That feels different. That feels different. You want to. But tell me I'm not going mad here. Try that with the back of your finger.
That horse bolted a while ago, didn't it?
Now try this one. Now try this one. That's definitely more grippy.
Yeah, it is.
And that, I think,
That
feels the best.
Slickest.
Yeah. That feels pretty good.
Shall I go and get a bottle of squirt for you?
We could use these containers and just tilt it and see which one slips the easiest. But this.
Well, a little bottle of water for a bit of bead action.
Oh yeah, we'll do that as well. Yeah.
So
on the buff, really, the only observation, they all buff nice, but C43, the finish feels more grippy to me. And these, I don't know if it's psychological, but A27 felt slicker, and maybe B33 as well. Very hard, but there was something going on with this feeling a little bit more grippy. So that's the buff. Huh, which one's which?
the first one you applied.
That's 27, 33, 43.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, rolling.
Okay, 27, 33, 43. That's really hydrophobic. Let's just put a slow stream on that. Well, pretty hydrophobic that is. Pretty impressive. I reckon they're all going to be very similar. Oh no, that's slower. You just see that? Slightly slower. There are some differences between these waxes. That is the slowest hydrophobicity. That's a tiny bit quicker. And that I think is the fastest. Not much in it. Interesting. So yeah. So So we could put it horizontal and look at the beads, but there is a slight difference between hydrophobicity. So I'm going to look further at that when I've got a flat panel at home. So we might be able to learn a few things about it from that, but that just gives you a little demo. So we have had a preliminary look at this, and the surprising thing for me is I think there are some observable differences between these waxes, and I didn't think there would be. There's definitely some hydrophobic differences. So 33 I think is the least hydrophobic. So I'm going with 33 actually is going to be the graphene, on the basis that I think the graphene might lower the hydrophobicity. I could be wrong. I'm going to research that later on. Even though I thought this was the plain wax because it was the only one that hadn't shrunk and cracked. So I thought the addition of the graphene might dry the wax blend out more and crack it. But I'm going to drop that theory. 43 feels the grippiest to me. So I'm going to say that 27, which felt the slickest, is the Si02 wax, because you associate Si02 with low slip, you know, low friction. He knows the answer. He's looking at me thinking, you've got it all wrong.
I can't remember. But all you really have to do is wait until July to find out anything.
July,
July
is when the results are going to be published.
When the results are out, to see whether your findings concur with other people's findings, and whether your guesses are correct or incorrect.
Right. So those guesses are SiO2, graphene, and organic wax. That's my finger in the wind. Really great fun though, guys, and it's always a pleasure to come down here. So check out the Pro Detailers magazine. This volume is going to be a special one. Is it volume 15 or 16?
It's volume 16.
16.
And also, I'd like to say we're about to sit down and do a podcast.
We are. So check in that podcast. I'll link in the description of this video as well. And come and have a listen to some of the things we're going to be talking about. And you guys follow the detailing industry very closely. So if you're a professional or a detailing enthusiast, you'll already know Bert. But if you don't, go and follow him. Yeah. He's also on YouTube, Pro Detailers magazine channel, so that's really important. It's all fun. Thank you for having me, Bert.
Well, thank you for coming all the way into the sticks here. It's very close to Swindon. Yeah. And you bought some class with your fancy BMWs.
So, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, guys, take care. Bye for now.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I when you